Hello, hello, and welcome. All right. I think we're up and running. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. I should probably have started that with the headphones. Although, now that I think about it, that's not actually the right routing to tell if it's actually working. Okay, we're back. You may have noticed a little sneak peek of me during the countdown sequence, which was what this whole day is about. I need to get the studio back together, working again, and get all my companion buttons sorted out. So that's mostly what we're going to do today. But as always, if you do have any questions, let me know in the chat. Start your message with the letter Q and it filters it out on my screen so I can see it a little better. And yeah, nice to have you here. So let me explain what is going on and say hi to some people in the chat. Yes, we can see and hear you. I need to get the chats on the screen again, which of course is a thing. There we go. Oops, wrong ATEM. Let's pop over to that one. Aha, there we go. Sound is a little bit hot. Video is fine. You're a little dark on the left side. Yeah, the lighting in here is not great. Which is my left side? That side or that side? Your left. So this side. Yeah, so I do have a light over there. Not set on the lighting in here. But the sound. Let's see if I can fix the sound. It does look a little bit hot to me. I could drop, I think I can just I think if I just drop the gain on the main microphone, that will be the best way to do it. I think it might be a little bit closer to me than it used to be. Okay, let's just take it down a couple notches. Hopefully that's a little better. Hi, Media Rex from Las Vegas. Great. Okay. Getting things sorted. Yeah, you might notice things are a little bit different in the background today. This is not my goal for the background. I'm gonna swap this shelf out with the other one that is usually in the background. I just didn't have time to do that yet. And the and yeah, the lighting in here is not fine tuned. I should have put like a camera in here that I can show you what's going on in here. Maybe I can get a phone camera piped in quick. That should be possible. I've got enough wires in here. It better be possible. Let's try that really quick. I'm going to see if I can get an NDI camera on the stream really quick. Again, everything is, not everything is wired up the way it used to be. All the input numbers and ports have changed and everything, so none of my macros work. So anytime I'm going to try to do something like this, it's going to take an extra second. But I should theoretically be able to route camera, NDI camera to that ATEM, which is, I guess we'll use the Pro Convert NDI and then get that showing. Where is my Pro Convert? And then at some point I'll get my computer screen on the stream as well. Let's try that one. Hey, that worked. Okay, cool. Now I can show you with my phone what's going on. So, okay, this is what I'm looking at. This is, you're looking at the Shoot app from my iPhone. So I've got two racks now on the top of the desk. I've got a monitor and a rack full of HyperDecks. And over here, I've got another rack with another monitor and IP2110, HyperDeck, and Web Presenter, which is currently off because it's being a little whiny. And then, of course, the monitor up here for my computer. And I do not have the teleprompter turned on, although that camera is on. And then, yeah, the lighting is not fantastic right now. So I've got just kind of a big light up there. I do have one on the side, but that's actually mostly for that camera, which is a different camera angle. We've got a little floating head over there, which is very creepy. I don't know why she's staring at the wall. But what light I wanted to show you was the one up there, which is actually used to be the hair light for this, for the angle over here on the table. Right now, it's actually mostly just lighting up the entire room. Like if I turn it off, the lighting completely changed in here. And now you can see the lighting without that, just rest of the room lit up. It looks a lot darker, a lot more dramatic, which I actually think it's fine on me. It's a little bit dark in the background, and the background is not properly lit otherwise. But I think I'm going to leave it on just because it's a lot easier to see everything else going on right now when that's on. So yeah, I will leave that camera ready to go in case I need it again. Thank you, Koala, for the super chat. $10 for the studio fund. Thanks. I definitely, yeah, help fund all the cables that are in here. I've got like these spools of wires now from that I've been trying to organize. Looks good. Gave up on wrapping the devices white. Yeah, it's it's fun. It's a lot of work, and it definitely means I can't resell the devices later if I ever wanted to. Okay, let me see if there were things in the chat from earlier. Hello to the new folks, Patrick, Supreet, and Eric. Good to have you here. Cool. Okay. So the plan for today is I need to get my Stream Deck back up and running, which means I need to be able to show you my computer screen at some point. And I can explain a little bit about like what's going on in here. I also have two things to show that are not related to the current studio build out, which is, and now I need my overhead camera back. I'm actually running the stream through through the ATEM SDI, not my main Constellation, because I knew I was going to be reconfiguring it a bunch. So I only have 2 camera angles to switch from. But thing I want to show today was a new thing from YOLO Live. So YOLO Live now has a YOLO deck, which is a USB connected control surface for the YOLO box. I'm using it on the Ultra right now. I have it plugged in over here, and it looks an awful lot like a Stream Deck. I think the buttons are slightly larger. I think also they're individual screens, not like the way the Stream Deck did it, which is a whole screen that kind of gets covered up. But it feels very much like the original Stream Deck. It's very close to that. I can go through this if you're curious about setting it up and configuring it. This is coming out, I think this week it's coming out. I just installed the firmware update on the YOLO box, so hopefully everything works fine. And the other fun thing that I wanted to share is for the OC Go Stream. This is a new stand from Index 3D for the Go Stream. So I'll put that together as well, and we can take a look at that and see how it looks. It is got a little bit beat up from DHL. They weren't very careful with that box. But yeah, so we can take a look at that as well. Okay. Where should we start? Yeah. I wonder if I can. How am I going to get? I need a good way to get my computer screen in here. I guess I'm going to route my computer screen into the ATEM. So maybe I should. Yeah. Once I do that, I can go over some of the wiring diagrams of how the studio is connected and try to make that chart, because that's going to be very necessary to keep track of everything that's going on in here. So with the screen there, I need a picture-in-picture. So if I go like that and show you my computer screen, I actually want to do a upstream key, maybe a circle. Looks like I already had it set for that. And then let's turn that on and see how it looks. Okay, a little bit off. So if I scoot the circle over and maybe up a little bit, then I can shrink it a little bit. Oh, that's the actual size I want. Flying key. There we go. Okay, now I can. Now what I really need is I need a button that will let me go between. This is the problem with the ATEM, is that I can't just go back to camera 1 because it keeps the key on. So let's do that on ATEM SDI, which is that one, and let's move that button there. And then here I'm going to make a button which is going to be camera 1 with no upstream key. We're going to do 2 things. Program, set to camera 1, so that's going to bring my camera back on the screen, but I need to turn off the upstream key. And we're going to do that with this action. We're going to say off air. And that should go back to my full screen. And then I need that button here, which is going to be camera 2 with picture-in-picture. So for this, we're going to say set the program input to camera 2, which is my computer screen now, and upstream key, we're going to set that to on air. I should probably also add in here the action that sets the inputs, and I can just click learn. I think it's the same as the default. And then let's see, upstream set type we want to make sure we have the right type, which is a pattern. And where's the one that sets all the properties? Mask. That one. And now I just click learn, and it's going to just pull in all the values for, oh, not mask. What is it called? Flying key. Is that a separate section? Well, it's good to set all of the things that you want. Anyway, ATEM SDI, maybe it's DVE properties. We'll click learn on that. That looks like it was right. Okay. And now I have buttons, and I should be able to switch back and forth. Camera 1, and that's scene. Fantastic. Step 1 is done. Okay. Step 1. Step 2 is let's talk about this. So this is my extremely over engineered studio, and this is now the old version, which I need to update to what is currently here before we can start making some actions. So I do have notes about what I wired everything into. And apparently I'm not logged in to Notion on my iPad. Lovely. I just wanted the second screen here. Otherwise, it's harder to manage. That one. Come on. Oh, jeez. Autofill, password autofill is not working. Notes, kind of like reading the instructions. I mean, it's so it's the I need to do this without talking. Apparently, I can't type in a password and talk at the same time. Yeah, the notes are I made a map of everything that I wanted to do. Not a map. I made notes about everything I want to wire before I wired it, because it actually made the wiring go a lot smoother that way, because I was like just going off of the list of like, okay, this wire from this device goes into port 21. This one goes into port 22. And it was very quick that way. But I should really turn it into a map, because otherwise it's really hard to follow. So the goal here was, and now I also want to be able to use my other cameras. Maybe I should just route. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my Constellation and give it camera 20, and then I'm going to make the ATEM number 1 be ME1 in there. Okay, this is my other camera angle. So you might notice I have patch ports on the bottom of both of the racks, and that was because this is to give me faster access to all of the. Some of it are ports on these devices in the rack. Some of it are breakouts from the main switcher, and that's so that when I'm like testing, like, oh, let's pull out the GoStream and plug in 4 cameras, I have the HDMI connections for it right here on the rack. Or if I want to feed a device into the stream, I can do that as well. So all that kind of stuff I had mapped out. I had tried to figure out what's the right combination of things connected to the SDI matrix versus in the Constellation itself. So I think I've got it decently under control now. But yeah, let's go through the list. Oh, I wanted to show that back angle, which I think is on 17. Yeah, there we go. So here's the 4 HyperDecks, the green screen Ultimat. This is the deck link, or the Ultra Studio for the chat. And then those HDMI ports are mostly broken out from the HyperDecks. I have a bank of just charging ports. I have a couple extra network ports over here. Yellow box is blocking it. And then most of these are HDMI in, HDMI out, USB from each of these devices, which is kind of cool. Okay. I think we're going to go to this map. So I need to bring the camera back, which is that one. And we can do that. So, okay. Yeah, this is different now. I do have the video hub back up in operation, so I think I need to put that on here first, because otherwise nothing is going to make any sense. So let's get the video hub on here. I decided to put this back in service because I have too many things that I want to connect, and especially once I started counting up breakout ports. And now I need to see the chat, which is not on any of I need more screens. That's the answer. I think I would just be logged into everything all the time. Come on. There we go. At least when it works. Oh, well, spoke too soon. That's weird. I could have sworn. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, there we go. Now I have a tiny screen showing the chats. What is the model of the, oops. What is the model of the triple screen? Oh my gosh, what is going on? Okay, apparently I can't click messages on the phone. There we go. This is a LILLIPUT screen. It is a it's a little 3-up display. It is kind of cool. It is the only one I could find that is actually full HD screens on them. A lot of them are like 800 pixel instead. And so this one has full HD screens. Let me grab the link for it here. Each screen is like a totally independent thing. Each has SDI and HDMI inputs and outputs. I haven't actually tested if it does the cross conversion. I suspect not. But you can switch in each screen to input from either one. So I have ports on the front of here where I can feed the screens from HDMI in case I just want to monitor something that's on the desk, which is kind of cool. Here is the link. LILLIPUT 3-up 2 rack unit screens. The first one that I got had a weird problem on the middle screen where half of it was like blurry. So I just returned that one. I got a new one, and so far this one's fine. I hope it doesn't also break later. Will I add the Magewell Director Mini into the mix? I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to permanently wire it here, but it is because it's mostly it's a portable thing, right? It's meant to be a portable thing, and I would use it more out on the road. So instead of, it's not going to become a permanent, get permanent wires in here, but that's why I have all these ports on the front so that I can when I do want to use do a show with it in here for testing or for whatever, I can quickly connect it into the rack. Okay. Now I can see the chat. I can see my notes. So let's go back to this. Okay, so first what I did was I'm going to leave all these things even though they're not quite connected right. Maybe I should disconnect the wires. That's what I should do. How do I do that? Yeah. Disconnect these because these are not connected right anymore. There we go. That'll give us a little bit more of a clean slate to start with. I did not try to keep any of the wires connected the same before. Okay. There we go. So first thing I did was I decided to run 4 inputs and outputs between the matrix and the constellation. I'm not actually sure that that's enough, but that's what I have so far. So what I did was output 1 of the constellation went into input 1 on the matrix. I did that for the first 4 and the other direction as well. So output 1 from the matrix goes to input 1 on the constellation. One of the things that I decided to design this with in mind was if I have any devices connected directly into the constellation, what that means that I can quickly route out any of the 24 outputs, and those get routed, those get sent out with clean switch, which basically means there's no video signal interruption when I switch. So if I'm feeding a monitor, for example, and I go, like if I have a monitor plugged into output 11 and I change it from a camera to a multi-view or whatever, the monitor doesn't have to resync. So it's really nice that it doesn't see it as a different video signal. However, in the matrix, it does see it as a different video signal because it's more like physically unplugging the wire. And so that means I wanted to keep monitors mostly in the ATEM and less in the matrix. However, the other big difference between the two is that in the constellation, there's only one audio mix. So there's one audio mix for the entire constellation. So all the outputs have the same audio in them. And that's whatever your program audio is. So if I'm feeding hyperdecks to record and I wanted to record separate audio on each hyperdeck, like if I'm doing remote guests and I'm doing, I have 4 different people coming in, I probably want their audio recorded separately. So I don't want to feed the hyperdecks from the constellation because then I'm not able to record separate audio. So I kept most of the hyperdecks in the matrix. So that was kind of my rule of thumb. Like, do I need separate audio feeds? Keep it in the matrix. Do I need clean switch faster? Okay, I'll keep that in the constellation. Okay, let's start connecting up some of the other things. Okay, so this is actually not wired yet, but my plan is output 5 goes into the teleprompter, which is in front of me. I do have the TV in the back behind. And is that on here? I think I may not have had that TV when I made this map, so we're going to go and just duplicate that, and that's going to be the large TV. It is a what's the brand of that? Is it Samsung? It's the frame, yeah, Samsung. That one does not have SDI in. I don't care about the headphone jack, so it's just HDMI. And that one is on output 6. Can't connect SDI to HDMI. Right, because there's a converter. One of many converters. This is one of them. I can steal that over here. Oops, other way around. Get out of here. Delete. I need the SDI to HDMI. Do I have any of those sitting around here? Not a bidirectional. I have just a dedicated one. Oh, here's one. I don't like that color. I like the color to be gray, like the converters. Helps me see it. Okay. Duplicate that. HDMI goes there. And that's on output 6. Great. 7 is the monitor that's to the left of me, which again is which is also a HDMI monitor, so I have a converter there, and that's number 7. Then I have patch panel. So how am I going to do this? This actually goes to converters, and they're actually bidirectional converters because I wanted to stack them. So let's grab that bidirectional. I kind of want to put this all in like a little box because there's 4 of them. So what I did was I wanted 4 inputs and 4 outputs, 4 HDMIs in and out at the desk here, so that I can plug in a Magewell or other devices or whatever. So I used the bidirectional converters, and I have the, I still don't know why they haven't released this, but I have beta firmware from Blackmagic, which is, after I bugged them a lot, which lets me lock it in bidirectional mode, so that normally they will auto sense if they have a SDI or HDMI input, and they will go into mirroring mode or crossover mode. But I got beta firmware from them, which locks them into bidirectional mode, because I very often don't have things plugged into both inputs, and I don't want it flipping back and forth between modes. So that is 8, 9, 10, and 11 SDIs here. 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I might need to move some of this stuff. This is going to go up here. This is going to go over here. There's the TV. There's the monitor. Great. And here's the little patch panel. So I need a patch panel, which I'm just going to make one here. And it's going to be called patch panel. I think I'm going to make it only show, even though it's like technically one big long thing, I think I'm going to make it just show the HDMI ports for this. So this is input 1, input 2, input 3, input 4, and then this is actually output 5 because it's port number 5. So I have 4 inputs, 4 outputs. So SDI goes and crosses over to HDMI. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. This is not right. The patch panel. Oh, I know what I need to do. This is actually output. I'm trying to make a gear that is showing HDMI in and out for each of them. Yeah. So I guess I actually have 8 because my head is hurting. Okay. It's in on the back. From my point of view at the desk, the first 4 are actually outputs. So those are inputs. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this when I make 8, and I just have to wire it up carefully. Okay, so the first 4, from my point of view, are inputs, so they are empty. Those outputs go into the converters. There we go. So that goes into the converter and sends SDI back into the switcher. 5, 6, 7, 8 send video out to the table in front of me. So the SDI from the ATEM goes into 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Maybe this is easier to see if it's over like that. And right. And then those SDIs need to get routed back into the ATEM, which are inputs to the ATEM. So they are on my list. Are they in the ATEM? No, they're split. I decided to split them. So patch panel 1 and 2 go to ATEM input 7 and 8. Like that. But then 8 inputs 3 and 4 go into the video hub because I ran out of Wait, shoot. I did this wrong again. Oh my God. That's output. So out of the ATEM outputs. I did these ones wrong. 8, 9, 10, 11 are wrong. ATEM inputs. There we go. So patch panel 1, out 1 goes to that converter. That SDI sends signal out into input 7. ATEM inputs 7. Okay. This one goes into 8. Video hub input. No, it's also ATEM is just way down there. Oh, right. I remember why I did this. The other thing I had to keep in mind was the first 15, I believe, inputs on the ATEM get audio pulled into the audio mixer. So if I want to be able to mix audio in the mixer, I have to put them in the early part of the ATEM, and then these ones are where I don't care about the audio. So only the first 2 inputs of the patch panel get audio mixing capabilities in the ATEM. Okay, so then what is feeding the, let's see, input into the patch panel? So output 5, out of the ATEM outputs, where's my list? That is 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, that was right. Out 8, 9, 10, and 11. There we go. That's the patch panel. That is more complicated than I thought. So the empties are because those are physically empty ports in front of me at the desk. John says, great time to join the stream. Good to have you here. I am using H2R gear made by John from Here to Record. We're mapping out the whole studio here. Okay, next up, output from the ATEM. I have the ATEM SDI. And this is actually what I'm streaming with today because, well, I knew I was going to be messing with the ATEM eventually once we get this mapped. So output 12, 13, and 14 go to the ATEM SDI. And then I did put one of the outputs from the video hub in here instead. So video hub output 20 goes to SDI 4. And that's because this is an ISO recorder. So if I did want to ever record ISO recording, the first 3 actually are going to have the same audio on them because they're all from the Constellation. But at least this one will have separate audio. I might change this later because I might care more about the separate audio feeds. We will see. Because right now I basically only get 2 audio. But I do have the HyperDecks in case I need other ISO recordings. Okay. Anyway, that is the... Okay. Then I have new device, which is the Ultimat. And I don't know if I have ever made that one here. Let's see if I did not. Let's see if it's in this library. Ultimat 12 HD. I don't know why it's green, but let's see. Do I like this one better or this one better? I think I like this one better. So Ultimat for green screen is... Oh, that's not there anymore. I have to redo that later. I decided that I was really impressed with Adam Tao's setup for green screening in his studio, and I'm going to try to recreate it here. So I don't have a lot of space. I'm like 2 feet away from where the green screen is going to be. I might eventually put it up on the ceiling and have it pull down instead of go up from the floor. But I did a quick little test with it already, and it's pretty cool. I was able to get decent light on it, even without like being able to actually carefully place the lights. And it is very good. So what I've done is I've got output 16 going into the camera input and output 17 going into the background input. That way I can feed the green screen background from whatever is in the ATEM. And then I'll get the outputs of that later. And then I do have the HyperDeck Mini set into output 18, and instead of in the Video Hub, because this one I mostly use if I'm just doing a simple recording of videos like for YouTube. I'll just hit record on that and it goes to the network drive, and I don't need ISO audio for that. It's also just one HyperDeck anyway. And I think that's it. So if I did this correctly, I don't have anything wired up to outputs 19 through 24 yet in the ATEM. Okay, now let's go to Video Hub outputs where there's a lot more. So, okay, I have the 4 that go into the Constellation. I do have a web presenter, so I decided to feed the web presenter from the Matrix because if this is another one of those differences between the Matrix and the Constellation. The Constellation does everything, and if it crashes, it takes everything down, including all the video outputs. The Matrix does less stuff, so it's a lot less likely to crash. And what that means is if something ever goes wrong and the signal to the web presenter gets cut because it's being fed from the ATEM and the ATEM crashes, I can always feed the web presenter from something else that's plugged into the Matrix. Now, I don't have any cameras that are plugged directly into the Matrix, so I should probably solve that. Maybe I should route my main camera into the Matrix instead of the Constellation. But at least that would let me, like, in an emergency, you know, switch over to stream something else. I could at least stream like a static graphic or something, which is better than black. So that's why I feed the web presenter that way. I do have the Pearl Nano routed in. I also did something very, very cool with power that I'm happy with now, which I'll talk about in a second. I should almost do a whole separate diagram of this showing the power routing. And then I have the screens, the LILLIPUT screens. Let's see if that's, I probably just have to make it. Yeah, I'll just make one. Okay, so we're going to go build a LILLIPUT 2RU monitors. Monitor, there we go. And we have 3 HDMIs and 3 SDIs. And there are outputs, but I'm not using the outputs. I decided to not wire those up. There's like loop throughs, but I don't care about those. But I do have SDIs and HDMIs. There you are. So I decided to feed this from the Matrix. I'm not actually sure if that was a good idea. I might need to repurpose some of the Matrix outputs for like this, for example, because I don't really care about the audio going into the monitors. Maybe I do. They have little headphone ports. It's kind of cool. Anyway, for now, this is, I should rename these. I should rename these HDMI 1, HDMI 2, HDMI 3, SDI 1, SDI 2, SDI 3. Great. So I have 3 SDI ports coming out of the Matrix going into here. And the 3 HDMIs are actually connected to a little patch panel, so I'm not even going to bother wiring that because that is silly. Okay. Then I have a bunch of little bits and bobs. So let's see. I've got this one, NDI to SDI. That's the other direction. I have let's get rid of that. Oh, and I'm not using the SmartView Duo anymore. So let me edit this and turn that into, this is a streaming encoder, but it's SDI. And this is just a generic one. Then I have a Magewell SDI to NDI. So this is SDI in, Ethernet out, I guess. And I have an SDI capture card, which goes to the computer, which is up here, which is not doing well yet. Streaming bridge, that is somewhere. Okay. Hyperdeck's going to have their own little Hyperdeck island over here, I think. Studio HD Mini. That's a duplicate. I guess technically it's a Studio HD Mini, but it's fine. SDI to NDI. Okay, then this other one is the SDI capture card. And that is not Magewell. It is SDI in and USB out to the computer. So the NDI encoder is on output 10. Why is there a camera hanging out there? Okay, NDI encoder gets number 10. Streaming encoder gets 12. And capture card is on 11. Great. And then that capture card is plugged into the Mac Mini. I don't know if I need to really do that, but it's fine. Then Hyperdecks on 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I have 4 of these in the rack. And those get SDI 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then I have a new device which I've started testing, which is the 2110 converter, this guy. Also in the other rack, but this is not really arranged by where they are physically. It's fine. This is a converter that will go between IP and SDI. So I have 3 inputs, 17, 18, 19, going into the converter, and then it will convert that to network video, and then it will also take video from the network and output it over its SDI. Okay. All the outputs are wired up. Now let's go to inputs. Isn't this fun? Okay, input 1, 2, 3, 4 are done already. 5 is the Apple TV, which is right there. So I do just have an Apple TV sitting in the rack still. My computer is on number 6, so I'm doing the same thing here, where I have the computer HDMI goes into a bidirectional converter. The bidirectional converter feeds HDMI to the monitor that's in front of me. That way it's 0 latency added, but then it sends a copy over SDI to the ATEM. And that works a lot better than feeding the computer directly into the ATEM and then having an output from the ATEM into a monitor, because that adds a frame or 2 of latency. Okay, then 7 and 8, good. Those are already done. Patch panel. 9 is Hyperdeck plus 1 fill. Okay, so this was where I also wanted to carefully choose. This is only applicable to the 4ME Constellation for me, but I wanted to carefully choose what things get the early chunks of the ports for audio routing into the mixer. So I did feed Hyperdeck 1 into there so I can pull audio in case I'm playing back a video with audio. I can pull it into the mixer and send it out my computer speakers, for example. But then the rest of the Hyperdecks get put up higher in higher ports because I don't need the audio from them. So Hyperdeck 1 key, for example, is actually in port 27. And then HyperDeck 2 goes, HyperDeck monitor goes into 28. This was another cool thing about the HyperDecks is these HyperDecks support 4K inputs over HDMI, not over SDI. Oh wait, they might do. Now I need to double check. They might do 4K 30. Let me double check. HyperDeck Studio HD Plus. Yeah, they're called HD. Okay, yeah, so it does do 4K up to 30. But the cool thing is that so I don't have any 4K SDI things anyway, so I haven't used it. But my cameras do 4K over HDMI. So I can actually plug in one of my cameras, into the HDMI input of the HyperDeck and get a 4K signal. But then what happens is the monitor out is 3G SDI, so it's 1080 only. And that means it actually scales it. So I can record a 4K signal in the HyperDeck and output a 1080 back into the ATEM. So that gives me 4K ISO recording effectively, while being able to live stream still. So that's a cool little thing. That's why I did. Where did my H2R gear go? There it is. That's why I did this. So the monitor output. It also will show like you can turn off clean feed and it'll show you like the counter and like the time code and stuff like that. But I just turn on clean feed and then it acts as a scaler. So that goes into the ATEM. And then this one goes all into here. 29, 30, 31. 29, 30, 31. And then the other HyperDecks goes into the video hub. Again, so I can get audio routing if I wanted to, but also because I was running out of inputs on the ATEM, and I don't use the HyperDecks for playback all the time. So this is 9, 10, 11. 9, SDIB goes to 10, monitor goes to 11, and then 12, 13, 14 over here. 12, 13, 14. Great. Okay, what was I doing? I got distracted by the HyperDecks. I was on the ATEM inputs. So input 10 is the HyperDeck Mini. Where is that? There it is. HyperDeck Mini is actually input 10. Great. 11, 12, 13 is the 2110 converter, which is up here. So I can pull network feeds into the ATEM as well. That, maybe I shouldn't have actually used the low ports for that with audio. Well, I guess it depends on what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, 14 is not wired yet, but it will eventually be the iPad that's on my desk. I guess I can put a converter there in the meantime. Let's see. I should have a HDMI to SDI converter for the iPad, which is 14. 15 is the Ultra Studio fill, and that's again because I do want audio in it. That's where the countdown timer runs, and I listen to the audio, except for today, listen to the audio in the room. And then 16 through 22 are reserved for cameras, and I don't have very many of them connected right now. So this one, I do have one on 17. I do have one on 20, and I believe 21. So it's that camera overhead. Oh, I have a fourth one. Don't know where it is yet. That's fine. 23 is the Ultimate. Okay, so the Ultimate was, where was that? There it is. Program output from the Ultimate. So that's like the the full image of the background with the green screen video on top of it, all as one video feed that acts like a camera. So if I ever switch to camera 23, it'll just be whatever is that in the fully composited image from the Ultimate. There's also program mat output, which is, oops, that was that one. Program mat, there we go, 23. Program mat output is just the alpha channel. And then there's a monitor out, which goes into 25. And the monitor out, you can, in the Ultimate software control, you can quickly change what that shows. So it's useful if you want to inspect what's my key look like, what's the other channels and stuff look like. So those are routed there, so I can quickly show them. 26 is the Ultra Studio key channel. So that was SDI2 from this. 27 is, well, those are already wired up from the HyperDex. 32 is a Fire TV. So I have a little converter. I'm going to leave off the splitter that runs into this because the Fire TV is stupidly locks into DHCP mode, even if you give it like not a video source. Like I have my web page for the map in there, but it still locks it into HDCP mode, which is very annoying. And I do not have AirPlay on that. Okay, great. So there's the Fire TV, and that goes into okay. And then we have 33 and 34. Oh, those are already wired. Those are the patch panel. ProConvert NDI decoder. That's NDI decoder, right? That's what I used to share my phone camera just now. So that can live somewhere here. That goes into 35. Great. Web presenter status is 36. So where did I put the web presenter? I have bad news, which is that, oh, you're way over here. Okay. Monitor is what it's called. So you, wow, all the way over to 36. There. 38 apparently, oops. 37. Oh, yeah. 37 is the ATEM SDI out. 38 is unused. 39 and 40 are multi-view. So what I did was I took multi-view 1 and looped it into 39. I took multi-view 2, looped it into 40. And I believe multi-view 3 and 4 go into the video hub, which we're going to do in a second. So the unfortunate thing I've discovered is with the web presenter, now that it's in a rack that has closed sides, I discovered that how hot it gets. And it just has decided to be a little whiny baby and crank up its fan a lot. Now that it's like not just in an open frame rack. And I am seriously considering whether this actually made sense to do in the first place, which was should I have even built these enclosed racks? I do have a little fan hole on the side, but it's not enough to have full airflow, I guess. So yeah, no, I'm not happy about that. I might go back to open frame racks, and then I just have to mount the monitors on the desk with like floating arms instead of just setting them on their little stands. Okay, video hub is almost done, but we have to finish wiring this. So 5, 6, 7, 8. This is actually a deck link, which I don't think is on this diagram yet. So this is a deck link card. Deck link, I think it's this one. Deck link Duo 2. It is, yes. That'll work. So the deck link Duo is, well, it doesn't show the computer connection, but it has a connection, Thunderbolt connection to the computer. and then it gives me 4 SDI ports, which can actually be configured to input or output, but I have them all as output right now. And I have SDI 1 is one channel. SDI 2 is the fill channel. SDI 4 is the key channel. SDI 3 is its own channel. So those go into the matrix. And then, let's see, I've got 9 through 14 are the HyperDecks already done. 15 is a ProConvert decoder. That sounds a lot like this one. Oh, right. It's the non-NDI version of it. So this is the older one. I think they don't even sell it anymore. But this is I guess it's not NDI, so it's H.264 to SDI. And 16 is a streaming bridge. I saw that around here somewhere. There you are. You get the streaming bridge. So I put these in the matrix because I don't use them that often. So I figured don't eat up a port in the ATEM with them. 17 and 18 get multi-view 3 and 4. So that those go there. 19 is the ATEM Mini. Oh, right. And then 20 is the Pearl Nano. So let me put the Pearl Nano in here first. What? I thought I had an SDI out. Maybe it doesn't, and maybe that's not actually wired in yet. Interesting. Okay. Does it? I don't, it's not actually on right now. Tech specs. Let's see if they list out their ports. Connectors is not helpful. Video output. Connectors to HDMI. Okay, so the SDI is an input. I can't believe I forgot that. So that means port's free, I guess. Great. Okay, so I was going to explain the ATEM Mini. I added an ATEM Mini in here. Just regular old ATEM Mini, original one that they don't even sell anymore. 4 input, ATEM Mini, not Pro. Here we go. And the reason I did this is because, oh, and then I have a converter on it. ATEM Mini, this goes into 19. Because I had more devices that I want to connect, and I already ran out of ports on all of these. I'm like, should I get a 40x40 video hub? Which seems excessive. But in the meantime, what I did was I put an ATEM Mini on SDI 19, and then I connected a few things into the ATEM Mini. Let's see if I didn't write them down. Let's see if I can remember them. Actually, I think I have them written down in the software control. So I have a new ATEM Mini here called Rack ATEM Mini. Yeah. So it's the Unify Viewer, the Cloud Pod, the Companion Pi, and the Chaos Router. So let's see if I can put these in here. Unify, I don't know if, what's it called? It's like Viewer or something. Yeah, it's not in here. So let me just make one really quick. It has Unify Viewer, Unify, it is a, what is it? I guess it's a camera. It's not really a camera. It doesn't have any inputs, but it does have HDMI out. So what it does is it tunes into your network streams, your network cameras, and just turns it into an HDMI signal. So I have that. 2 is a Cloud Pod. Let's see if anybody's built this one yet. That'll work. So the CloudPod has 10 gig Ethernet, and it has HDMI monitor out for showing like the disk usage and stuff, which is actually kind of cool. If I toggle that on and then send Video Hub 19 into the ATEM, which is, I believe, oh, this is named wrong now. I need to update my Video Hub. Setup, because it's no longer a CloudPod status there. Come on. There we go. Input 19 is now the rack ATEM Mini. Great. So now this is, yeah, rack ATEM Mini. That is going into ATEM 4. Okay. Which is, let me send that over to the ATEM SDI, which should be this one. Look at that. That's my CloudPod. That worked great. Okay, ATEM SDI 2. Now I actually want you to be on my computer screen. Come back. Great. So that's that one. And then I have a Raspberry Pi, which I'll just use this one. This looks good. Raspberry Pi 4. This is a running companion, and I don't use the HDMI out of it very often, like almost never, but I figured since I have an ATEM Mini up here, I might as well plug it in. And then I do also have a, this is a little server, which is going to be the Chaos router. And again, I don't use the HDMI out of it very often, but now I have the ability to route it onto a monitor in here. Okay. That is the complete picture. That's what's going on in the studio. I got rid of that monitor. What I didn't show is all the other patch panels wired up, because I feel like it's not totally necessary, but it's things like, it's actually mostly this. So like the HDMI input and output and the webcam USB are broken out into the patch panel physically in front of me. And that is also the same set with the Ultra Studio, HDMI in, out, and USB. And then I have USB power and networks over there. Over here, I do have the patch panel on this diagram, which is this chunk with the converters. Then I have 3 inputs to the monitors, which I didn't put in the patch panel, but they're over here. Then I have USB from, I think it's USB from, yeah, USB from the HyperDeck, USB from the web presenter, and then that USB, which is not run yet, which is supposed to go down to the computer so I can patch things in. Audio was going to be from the mixer, and then I have network ports over there as well. Network, I feel like I need to do a whole separate version of this for network. Oh, I wanted to talk about the power that I routed. I'm actually really happy with this. So this also really needs a diagram, but there's like multiple stages of power now. So I have a battery on the bottom, and the battery feeds, only feeds devices that I basically always want to be on, unless I turn the entire rack off. So, for example, my computer, the Raspberry Pi running companion, the computer's monitor, turns out that's an important one. The network switches, so those are always on the battery. And I think that's about it. So the battery, because the battery just, when the battery pack UPS is on, all the outputs on it are on. That gear is always on. However, I also have 2 separate power distribution devices in the rack. One is a network controlled PDU, which means I can turn on and off each of the 8 ports individually, which I think it would send over here somewhere. Let's see. Um, and for this one, I put devices in here. So the battery feeds this, first of all. But here I put in devices that I don't necessarily want on all the time. So I have the ability, or things that need to get rebooted often. So the web presenter, for example, I have to reboot it every night because otherwise it crashes. Although I haven't actually tested that in a while because there've been a few firmware updates since that problem started happening. But I can now turn the web presenter off individually. I can turn the ATEM off individually. I don't need to reboot it very often at all, and I haven't for a long time. But it generates a lot of heat, and I was like, maybe I should be able to actually power things down a little bit more elegantly than turning off the entire rack all at once, which is how it used to work. It was either basically all on or all off. So now I can turn off the ATEM, the web presenter, the Pro Nano, because I don't have it on all the time and it does make more noise than the others. The Thunderbolt dock, which actually contains the DeckLink card, but also the 2110 converters. And that was really useful because as I was setting up the 2110 network, it kept taking down my entire network, flooding it with traffic until I got the settings right. Nothing's plugged into 5. For some reason, outlet 6 died. Don't know why. The relay stopped working. 7 is all 4 HyperDecks are plugged into that one outlet. So I have that one runs into a 4 power splitter going into all 4 HyperDecks. And the reason for that is because they make a lot of noise. They heat up a lot. They generate a lot of heat, and then if I don't need them, it'd be nice to be able to power them down. So I can now power them down individually without, again, taking the rest of the stuff down. The audio mixer is also on here, although I will say it is I don't know if that's necessary. It's completely quiet, and I've never had to reboot it. So if I do need a power outlet for something else, I'll move that to the battery because it doesn't seem to take a lot of power either. So that's that. And then separately from this, I have another power distribution, which is just like, it has a physical switch on the front, nothing fancy. And so it's just a 1U, it has like 8 outlets on the back and a physical switch. And that powers, that feeds like the rest of the gear on top of the desk. That is things that I can shut down if I don't need to be using the video streaming stuff. So like, that was not a good description. So not the Constellation, and not the HyperDecks, but like the Ultra Studio. Oh, I also forgot to mention the ATEM 4ME. That actually is dual ATEM and Video Hub, because I realized that those only make sense to come on in parallel anyway. So it turns both of them on. But so the other switch powers everything else basically. So like that ATEM Mini, the monitors on the table, let's see, not the web presenter, the Ultimat, the little power banks that power the little splitters and stuff, all the little accessory gear. So what it means is that I can do like 3 stages of powering down if I want. So if it's like a really hot day and I'm going to have to run the AC to even keep the room habitable and I need to work down here, I can like shut the entire thing down by flipping off the PDU and then turning off that one switch. But I can keep the computer running because it's just a Mac Mini. It doesn't make a lot of heat. And that's actually really, really handy. So I can still like use this computer. Also, the network switches stay up that way because there's like, they power I guess the network switches power the camera, so I can't really ever turn my cameras off. But they power other switches, which when that goes down, it kind of causes chaos in the home network. So, yeah, that's the deal. Okay. Now that I've got that mapped out, I need to print this out. What is this? Oh, I don't have that plugged in yet. I don't know where I actually haven't decided where I'm going to feed that from now that I think about it. I used to feed it from the web presenter, but if I'm turning it off, it's not a good candidate anymore. Maybe I'll feed it from the teleprompter monitor. That kind of makes sense because it's right there anyway. Yeah, great. Okay, that is a mess. Can I have never used the PDF export feature of this. Wow, it's pretty good. Wonder how visible this is if I print it. Let's find out. Print. I don't have a color printer down here though. Okay, let me take a look at the chat because I've been horribly ignoring the chat. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Oh, there goes the printer. Oh, Bailey says, sorry, won't be able to stay long, but excited to watch the replay. 2:43 a.m. Yes, that is late. San Genova Production says, my Constellation 2ME is on its way this week. Oh, cool. I'm going to be going through the same process on Friday. Well, hopefully there's some good tips in here you can learn from. Cool thing about H2R gears, it shows you the scale of all the I/O. The wider the rectangle, the more ins and outs. Yeah. Imagine a video hub 120 by 120 would be like a Star Destroyer. Yeah. Blackmagic always has these funny misconceptions like the HyperDeck Extreme 8K can actually take 4K at the same time, which is where it's much more useful. I agree. Eric says, I know Aaron could have probably done the diagram before the Great Big Migration, but at least he's documenting in a known current state. Always good to have the intention diagrammed. Yeah, my intention was just a list, which probably was easier to read than this diagram. H2R Gear is getting a workout today in this diagram. The OG minis are great. You can power them off of a USB-C power delivery port because they only need 12 volt 1.5 amp. Oh, that's cool. Should switch the web presenter for a solo live view. Best decision we've ever made. 0 issues with connections. That's cool. The weird devices are the Outcast group connected to the old ATEM Mini. Yes, exactly. On the Decklink cards, it looks like Blackmagic has been sneaking in a G2 of the Decklink 8K Pro without much info being around for it at all. Oh, interesting. I didn't even notice that. The printer is going to have a heart attack. I do need a plotter. Actually, I technically have a plotter. That'd be a fun one to set up. At one point I wanted to make it plot super chats that came in and draw your name on a piece of paper, but too many projects to do. Okay. Oh, let me go see if that printed. Well, something happened. It printed a blank piece of paper. I wonder why that was. I wonder whose fault that was. That's interesting. Is it my printer that's out of ink? Or is it... Let's try it again. Yen said, I'm late for the show. Did you already talk about the new audio routing features in the Constellation switchers? No, because mine doesn't have it. So I don't get to play with it. It's only in the, if I remember correctly, it's only in the 2ME. Let me double check. ATEM switchers. Let's see, 951 was the one that got, what was it? That's not where they added the SRT. Was it 9.5 that added SRT? So that was the big one. I guess they just did bug fixes for 9.5.1. 9.4 added yeah, and it wasn't there. It was 9.3. Constellation 8 gets audio mapping. 8K gets audio mapping. I feel like it was the 4K one got audio mapping as well. Audio mapping for the 4ME Constellation 4K outputs, yeah. But my 4ME HD does not have audio mapping, unfortunately. Well, this is entirely useless. Okay, next step is I need to set up buttons for switching the cameras so I can show you the overhead shots. But the overhead camera, I believe, was 17? No, 19? 19. Completely illegible. It is so small. There's no way I can read that. I do need a plotter, plot it on a giant sheet of paper and then put it in my, put it over on the wall up there. Okay, so I have 17 is the rear camera, 19 is overhead, 20 is the side, and 21 is the main. That probably, I should probably rename them in the ATEM. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So, 17 was rear cam, 19 was overhead, 20 is side, and 21 is main. So we're going to rename these. That way I get better labels on the Stream Deck when I eventually go and do that. There we go. That was the printer refusing the size of the diagram. It went, Aaron, really go screw yourself. Here's an empty piece of paper. Yes. It would make a cool album cover. That would work. Oh, speaking of album covers. Oh no. How do I connect RTMP bridge for remote guests now? So, I do have the streaming bridge routed in somewhere in here. Where was it? Streaming bridge, I think it's in going into the matrix at one point. I only have one of them. So there's only, yeah, one. But I do have other converters. So here's one of them. The other one was a Pro Convert NDI. Not that I would do NDI over the internet. Oh, so I'm not sharing my screen. There we go. So I have a couple of those if people are pushing remote feeds in. But I think for the vast majority of the remote feeds I'm doing, they are going to be using. I actually have a project coming in up in 2 weeks where I need to set this up. So that'll be it'll be at 2 o'clock. So 5 hours after my normal stream starts. So probably for that day, it'll be what is it, like the 14th or something? It'll be the 14th, yeah. So 2 weeks. That's going to be a entirely remote production with 4 or 5 remote people, which I'm going to bring in to the stream, and I won't be on camera. I'll be just behind the scenes, probably. Maybe I will. I should plan on poking my head out, maybe. But for that, the guests are going to just join from their own computer. Like they don't have streaming gear, so I need to be able to send them just a video conference link. So I'm going to either do video.ninja or what I've done in the past is made a StreamYard or one of those sites where it's like entirely produced in the cloud, and it feeds one video signal down to my studio, and then I can cut between local cameras or my own individual guests or the entire remote production. It depends on how many people I need to bring in and how many devices I can cannibalize for this. Because if I'm going to have Video Ninja, I need like a laptop per guest to full screen capture, or a OBS per guest. And yeah, anyway, that's a project for 2 weeks from now. So more on that later. Robert says, does the Blackmagic HyperDeck Studio HD Plus do live simultaneous cross-convert HDMI SDI and SDI HDMI? Cross-convert, no. Not exactly, but it will. It is active. So it's it is like if you feed it an SDI signal and you tell it to input SDI, then it will send that video signal out both HDMI and SDI. So it can act like a converter, but it doesn't do cross convert. So it's like there's only one video signal active at a time in the device. Oh yeah, I could use Zoom ISO also, which actually maybe I should do that because I have the DeckLink theoretically supports 4 video feeds. So that might be the best way to do it, because then I can get a video feed per guest, and I have 4 outputs. Then I could use, I may not need the Ultra Studio because I'm not going to be doing chat overlays, so I could get one more that way. That should work. It's been a while since I've used Zoom ISO. I used that for New Year's, but I haven't used it since then, really. Okay, Matt says, I upgraded my Ultra with NDI and I updated the Shoot app, and it shows the NDI, but the Ultra doesn't see it. But the NDI HX camera app works fine. Let's see. I have it here. Let's find out. So I was just using the Shoot app on the Pro Convert, and let's see. Actually, you know what? Before we do this, I need to make some Stream Deck buttons so I can mix my show. So we're going to go back to this, and I'm going to redo my main show page. This is so I've renamed all the sources on my ATEM already, but now they don't make any sense here because this was, these are the buttons for the old inputs. So let's take over the top row and switch that over to, let's see, 21 was the main camera. So let's do that. 21. Oops. 21. Feedback 21. If I do this, there's the main camera. And then this will be the overhead, which I think was 19. Yeah, 19. Overhead. Oh, I guess I can just type in overhead now that I named it. That's more convenient. This one, that's the one that you can't type in. Okay. So this one will be side camera. So that's 20. Side camera. And then this one is, what I say, it was 17. Rear camera. Okay, now I have fast access to that. That's much better. Great. So now if I'm on this, I can go quickly between all these different angles now. Great. So on the YOLO box, this is where I need a patch cable. I should be able to just grab. Oh my gosh. From the cable tree. Let's put this to the test. I should be able to take HDMI out from the YOLO box and go into patch input 1. Then, what do I want that on the stream? I guess I'm going to use a picture-in-picture for it. So we're going to go DVE upstream key, and this is going to be patch 1, and it's going to be a small... Ah, look at that. Now I have the YOLO box. Hey, it worked. Okay, so what I wanted to do was actually test this. Shoot app versus HX camera app. And I actually, in my YOLO box right now, I have the an NDI feed, which is my Pro Convert NDI. But already, now you can see that the YOLO deck works, switching sources. I should be able to add a second source. So let's get my, okay, you said that the NDI HX camera works. So let's double check that I can get the NDI HX camera to work. Also, NDI, add NDI source. Local, I don't know why it says localhost, NDI HX camera. Done. And sure enough. Okay, great. Oh, this is the one where it's the wrong aspect ratio because the, let's see, if I change this to fast mode, I'm changing the little setting here. Oh, it's not good. It's not the right aspect ratio. That's weird. Also, it's really not obvious what this icon means, but it's like changing between overhead camera is really dark right now. Let's fix that. It's like, I think it's like slow, medium, fast, or not slow, medium, fast, low, medium, and high bit rate. There's the overhead camera. Let's just go up. Like that. Our keyboard is very dirty. Anyway, not getting great results here. In the YOLO box, you can see it's squished. So let's try the Shoot app and see what happens when I do that. Shoot, we'll get rid of this NDI source, go add a new video source, and then we should see, yeah, PK phone shoot, great. Done. Oh, this one works. And it's the right aspect ratio. That one works a lot better. So I don't know what's wrong with yours. Update of the Shoot app. Let me see if my Shoot app is actually up to date. Because I think my app's auto update, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So let's go to the App Store. But yeah, that's cool. There it is, Shoot Pro. 2 months ago, not seeing another update. Update meaning I paid for the NDI Pro version. Oh, updated the Shoot app. Right, yes. I did that a while ago. I bought the Pro Essentials Lifetime that gives you the NDI output. I don't know why it's not working for you then. It seems to work fine here. It is stuttering right now, but it's also because the YOLO box is on Wi-Fi. I should really have given this a wired connection, which is another thing I can do with my patch panels. I should really plug in the YOLO box to one of those, which I can do. My little cable tree is actually kind of handy. Maybe I should find a way to make that not look terrible. What is this wire? That wire is ugly. Get out of there. I have not done cable management for the cameras yet. Okay, so theoretically that port is on the network, and this should give me a better NDI camera into the YOLO box. This is why I wanted these patch cables. Okay, so I should be able to, let's see, turn off Wi-Fi now. Let's try that. Network settings, network and internet. Is Ethernet connected? Hard to tell. Let's turn off Wi-Fi. And let's see if I'm still connected. Let's go back into the Shoot app. I think I'm still connected. Yeah, I'm still getting an NDI feed from this one. So this is the wired NDI encoder on the wired network, wired into the YOLO box now, and that one's very smooth. This is my phone camera. So my phone's obviously wireless, but now I'm using the wired connection on the YOLO box, which should help things because now at least only one of them is a wireless hub instead of both. And there's a little close-up of the YOLO deck. Yeah, cool. That's better. Is this the Shoot Pro webcam and Telestrator app? Yes, that is what it's called. It's very hard to search for in the App Store. It just spins, never shows up as a choice. I tried pulling the Ethernet cable so both were on the Wi-Fi and that didn't work. That's so weird. I don't know what else to do. Yeah, I don't know what else you can do. Another weird black magic. If you want 4x4K in the deck link, you need the 8K one, but the 4K deck link will do 4 full HD. That is weird. Do you have to reconfigure the deck link for 4 outs as you have OBS using key fill, or does it? No. Yeah, you do need to reconfigure it. So if you go to the desktop video setup, then this is where you configure what you want all the ports to do. So deck link, it's where they show up as separate devices. So deck link duo 1 is port number 1, which I also wish they had labeled these because I don't know which one's the ref port without pulling up the specs on it. Deck link duo 2 is set up as device number 2 is set to use ports 3 and 4 for key fill. Deck link duo 3 is set to use SDI 2 as a single one. So if I wanted to use 4 outputs, I have to go back and change this to not do key fill output and just output over SDI 3. And then I can go into deck link 4 and make that use SDI 4, which is no longer being used for the key fill. And I should probably change the video standard default. Great. So now I have 4 outputs. And then, oh, here's the IP. Only 2 of them are supported right now, deck link IP 1 and 2. But same idea, I guess you could choose a default video standard, but this is for the 2110 video, which I've barely started to play with so far. Cool. Emerald says, what are you using to connect the deck link to the Mac Mini? One of the Sonnet enclosures? Yeah, it's the Sonnet. It is the 3-card Sonnet enclosure. This is the Sonnet Thunderbolt enclosure. That gives me 3 card slots to add cards over Thunderbolt. So I have the deck link card with the 4 SDI ports, and I have the 2110 card for IP video, and one is still open, available for use. Obviously, I cannot use all of them at the same time because there's only 40 gigabits per second in the Thunderbolt connection, but I'm not planning on using both cards simultaneously all the time. Nil says, you said in the companion starter video that 99 pages should be fine. Do you still stand by this statement? I think so, yes. I think so. Again, it has to do with the way that I use companion, which is not so much using it as a replacement for generic control services, uh, it's more specialized, which is like, again, why when I made this, um, when I make, this is a bad example of it, but the ATEM SDI screen, like I have a button specially for camera 1 with no upstream key, camera 2 with picture in picture, instead of like making buttons that are equivalent to the ATEM's upstream key configuration buttons. I like to just have it be more specialized. So like this is the page where I control the ATEM SDI, and I would put everything I need on this page. And then my main show page, I need to redo a bunch of this, more of this now, but like this is ideally, this is the main page I'm on for most of the show, and I'm not bouncing around to things. So I don't, the thing that eats pages for me in this mode is when I do get closer to like the generic configuration buttons, like super source, for example. So I have a page that configures, must be for the ATEM Extreme. Yeah, Constellation super source. So box 1, I have buttons that control what goes into box 1 of super source 1. And now these labels don't make sense, but this is more generic because and I've actually used it a lot less because it's more generic. But the idea is that like if I need to quickly change what goes into a box, I can bounce over to this page to do it, and then I would need one of these for each of the super sources. So I have, I guess, I only made 2 of them. The matrix also eats a lot of pages, so I think I may have deleted those now, but I had a kind of a generic routing setup in here where I could go choose an output port on the matrix and then choose a input on the matrix, and I would go and set it. I guess I can make it again. I guess it only takes 2 pages now that I think about it, because we do get presets for that. So here's the, oh, do I not have that connected? Video Hub. So presets, Video Hub. So I can output 1. No, so this is what I didn't want to do. I don't want to make a, this is a button that will just like route immediately output 1 to input whatever, right? Which is, this is a way to eat up a lot of companion pages. But if you make it work like the actual Video Hub buttons, select destination. So you make a page with all your destinations. And this, when you press it, it doesn't do anything yet. It, what it does is it internally like puts it into the state of this is selected, and then on the next press, if you choose a source, it'll then route to that destination. So it's kind of backwards because like I don't like how these are lining up. I don't need all the buttons. I want these to be grouped better. I want the monitor 1, 2, 3. I want my hyperdecks on a row on their own. I want the 2110 converter. I guess they can go over here. And then ATEM SDI. Okay, so now if I push, what can I do that's not going to break everything? Hyperdecks. So if I press that, it goes into the state of that is selected, but nothing's actually happened yet. And then if I make another page, which is this preset, this will then activate that. So let's see if I do this right. Deck link 4, hyperdeck. There's 6, no, 5. Okay, 1. Hyperdeck plus 3. Oh, those are not labeled very. Oh, they're just cut off. 3. I need to change the font size of that. 4. 4. I'll put the ProConvert decoder and the streaming bridge up there. That's not actually Pearl Nano. Multiview 3 and 4, and ATEM Mini. This needs to drop. There we go. Font size 14. Font size 14. Okay. So now that I have HyperDeck Plus 2 selected, as soon as I go and press one of these buttons, it should switch. Yep. And I saw it change. So, oh, and then it's also showing me the state. The feedback is change background if the selected source is queued in the take or is routed to the destination. Yeah. So now this is a generic router page, which is actually kind of what I want for this, despite not wanting normally a generic pages. Okay, this is going to be called Video Hub Destination. And this is Video Hub Source. Great. So now I probably want a page here to jump me to those. What can I eat up? This is my launcher page. So I haven't really been using most of these. Oh, this one I do want, definitely want. That is a page just dedicated to outputting choosing what's on the patch panel. What's this? This, I think, was just a one-off. Yeah, we're going to rename this page so I don't lose track of what it was. But I am going to take that and make this Video Hub Router. And we're going to make that go to the destination. So you have to start on the destination, which is a little bit weird. So now I can go and press that, choose HyperDeck 3, go to the next page. I should really be showing you what I'm pushing. Okay. Oops. There we go. So now I can go Video Hub Router, press HyperDeck 3. It turns yellow. Go to this page. You know what I should do is I should make all these have another action which jumps me to that page. And then I can change what goes to it. So I can say, you get the rack ATEM Mini. Great. We're going to do that really quick. So there's another, where am I? Okay. So what I want to do is after I choose a destination, I want to also go to the next page. Does that work? It does. Great. So increment page number. We're going to add that, unfortunately, to all of them. Increment page number. Increment page number. Increment page number. Increment page number. I wish there was a way to do this faster. Monitor, increment page number. Would have been maybe, well, I guess these are all presets, so yep, that's just how it goes. Page number, increment page number. We will see how long it takes me to settle on whether this is the correct configuration for all the HyperDeck ins and outs and 2110 converters and stuff. Okay, now this will work. So now let me show you what this does. Go back to the overhead. So now if I'm on Video Hub Router and I press, let's do one that it's not going to screw up my show, HyperDeck 4. Now it just jumps me to that page, and then I choose what source I want that to be. And there it goes. Beautiful. I like it. Yeah, I noticed that you can make pages larger than the Stream Deck. It's where I put buttons used by other buttons. Oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't really noticed that. Interesting. That's a good tip. The I did notice that if you connect a small Stream Deck, you still get all these pages, but I hadn't really. Where do you resize the grid in the settings app? Oh, you just like change the whole thing? Oh yeah, look at that. So I can give myself an extra column. Oops. Now I have that. That's a good idea. So now you can use this to put virtual buttons that you want other buttons to press. I have a couple of those, like on. I guess I do press them sometimes, but most of the time this button is actually pressed by other buttons. But it takes up a physical button, and now I could move it to off screen, and then other buttons can press it virtually. That's a good tip. I like it. Do I have to sign into Square TV because I'm not? I don't think I'm signed into Square TV on this. Nope, I'm not. It says not connected to Square's TV. Was there a setting? So, okay, I am in 720p, not 1080, and 30 frames a second. And fill entire screen. Let's see, does it freak out if I change that to 1080? Well, it definitely didn't like changing it mid-stream. Let's delete that and re-add it and see what happens. Add video source, NDI. Okay, it still sees it. Oh, now it works. So that's... Oh, it's way laggier. Ooh, it's very laggy. Wow. 4K. Let's see if that freaks out. Let's delete it and re-add. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, it still sees it. Aha. This could be the problem. Oh, it crashed. Okay. Definitely does not work with 4K. Definitely had the best luck with 720. Yep. Try that. Tell me if that works for you. That seems like it could very likely be the problem. I am trying to break it now. I do not blame the Yellow Box for not being able to support 4K NDI, just to be clear. And Blanco says, hi there from sunny Spain. Today I'm on a tight schedule. F1 tour to France and Spain football match. Add Mr. Brecky regular live stream on top. Great. Oh my god, I can't believe it's already been 2 hours. With the ATEM Mini Pro and Ultra Studio Recorder 3G, I used to see an option to start recording in the output in ATEM Software Control. I don't see it after recent updates. Has it been removed? Oh, interesting. I never noticed that before. Let's see. I should have... I don't have the Ultra Studio connected, but I do have the... Oh, none of these are connected over USB, so I probably won't see it. Because they... Is that one connected over USB? I don't think it is. Output, record... Maybe they did update it because they added this Blackmagic Cloud stuff. I don't remember seeing that. Media. Yeah. But I don't, it would probably only show up if you had a thing plugged in over USB, which I guess I do have one here. Ultra Studio Recorder. Do I have a Thunderbolt cable nearby? Oh, that's the USB from that ATEM, which is definitely not plugged into my computer. Although, And does this work? I have the USB broken out onto the patch bay. Here, can I patch it into my Thunderbolt? Now it should be connected to the computer. Let's see if it is. I need a camera to show you the bottom part of the rack too. Because right now you can only see the top part. And then I also need another Thunderbolt cable. So let me go get one. No idea if this is a Thunderbolt cable or not. Let's see if this works. I have no idea if I've got this connected right. Also, what's up with the ATEM setup app not opening? Weird. Let's try that again. There we go. Streaming bridge, rack, ATEM Mini network, ATEM Mini Pro network, Extreme network, Constellation network. Okay, that did not work. Why didn't that work? Well, it's not going to work then if that's not connected over USB. Does the desktop find the Ultra Studio recorder? No. Probably because it's also not Thunderbolt. Oh well. Might have to try that later. Yeah, that's not even lighting up. I need more cables in order to do that. Trying 720 and still spinning. I'd pull my hair out, but I have none left. I don't understand what's wrong. I guess ask YOLObox support. I'm ordering the X Mac Mini server, a Thunderbolt enclosure to be able to rack mount it. That is a good idea. Mine is very awkwardly shoved inside of the rack. Yeah. Okay, so what were we doing? Do I have enough of the automations set up to run my show from the main ATEM yet? That's the question. That is the question. Oh, also, video hub router, NDI encoder. Aha, it's HyperDeck Fill. HyperDeck 4 gets... Oh, cool. Do love it when a good plan comes together. Okay. Do I have enough to run the show from the main ATEM? I'm already switching those. I guess what I need to do next is make sure my computer, my super source configurations are all set up right. That's the big missing piece. So let's go back to this. So I have these presets that I use for super source layouts that go between. I guess I can get rid of some because I'm not going to have two sets anymore. So this one should be the computer and the camera. So I'm going to rename this to computer and camera. Let's bring back the chat on here. There we go. And then this should be the computer, not the Apple TV. I should have just plugged that into 5 so that I didn't have to redo all of this, but too late now. Box 2 gets the camera, which is 21. Okay, so that one should work. I'm going to delete that one because that is a duplicate now because I only have one desk. This should be computer and the ATEM SDI. What does that mean? I think that was meant to be, I think that's meant to be my camera, my computer screen, and the ATEM SDI multi-view. So computer, this should have been 5 or 6 computer. Box 2 used to be my camera, so this is again camera. And then box 4 is off. Box 3, this should be the ATEM SDI, which is the multi-view. So let's see if that works. I think it's going to do a tunnel vision because that's what's streaming. Oh, that just configures it. It doesn't actually route it. Right. So what I really want to do is I want to see the multi-view on one of my little monitors here. So let's do that. Video hub. No. Video hub control. Yes. Monitor 1 should be, let's see, I don't have multi-view 1 in here, but I do have multi-view 3 and multi-view 4. Maybe I'll use multi-view 4 for this. And then back in software control, I'm going to go to multi-view 4, and then I can make this do what I want. This will give me super source 1. This will give me super source. Where are you? Super source 2. Great. Yes, that is what I wanted. Great. Now I can show ATEM SDI. There we go. That's what I want to show you. This is what it looks like. So we do get tunnel vision because it's the ATEM SDI that's doing the stream today. Normally it's not. But now I have my camera, and is it weird that I'm looking up at the computer screen? I feel like it's weird. I guess I need to move my camera up higher. I should be looking like this. Yeah. The camera is in the middle of the screen. So I'm looking at the top part of the screen. I'm looking over the camera. If I'm looking at the bottom part of the screen, I'm looking below the camera. I should probably move the camera up. Okay, great. So now now I can switch this back to that layout. Oops, that is missing an action. This should turn off. Yeah, this doesn't do anything to boxes 2 and 3. So I really should super source set box 3 off air and box 4. There we go. Great. That's progress. Now I can go back and forth with the main show buttons. Okay, so then the other button, that one works. Let's move that over here. Super source with iPad. So this is going to be, I just swapped 5 and 6. I should have just plugged them back in the same way they used to be, and that's annoying. So the idea is I share the iPad over, I'm going to call this Apple TV because that's going to be confusing actually, because I'm planning on wiring the iPad in. Super source Apple TV. So box 1 is the Apple TV. Box 2 is the camera. And then 3 and 4 should be off. Great. So that should do that. Is the Apple TV just not on? Yeah. Okay. Great. Computer, I'm actually going to move those 2 because I want those there. Okay. Desk iPad is going to move here. This one is not wired in yet, but I'm going to prepare for it. So this is going to be in port 14. I'm going to have a wired HDMI connection on the desk for the iPad. And then this should get moved to the camera, and 3 and 4 should be off. 3 and 4. Great. That one is done. Computer and Magewell. This is for demoing streaming to the Magewell. So this should be the computer screen. Box 2 should be my main camera. Box, where's the Magewell? Interesting. Huh. Well, let's set that up. I'm going to make it the same layout as that, except, so I'm actually going to copy that over it. And this is going to be, this is the Pro Convert actually. And box 3 is going to be the Pro Convert NDI, which is nothing right now. Right, it was my phone NDI feed. So yeah, now I should be able to go. This might actually just sync back up. Yeah, cool. So this is the NDI output from, or the SDI output from the Magewell Pro Convert NDI, pulling my phone's 720p video feed, which is weirdly choppy right now. But this is what you get with running NDI over the network. Okay, over Wi-Fi rather. Feels like with the Stream Deck remap, we're getting to 5% of full completion range. We're definitely getting close. Definitely getting close. SuperSource 2 map. This is the input 2 was a camera, so I'm just going to put that back to the camera. And then box 218, I'm guessing that was a Fire TV. 3 and 4 off. What does this do? The SuperSource 2. Oh yeah, that's good. Oops, looks like somebody got geocoded at 00. Coming along. Okay. Oh, I haven't done trivia in a while. That was kind of fun. I should do that again. It just was a lot of work making the questions. So we'll change that back to camera, and this is probably Fire TV. Yeah, that makes sense. 3 and 4 are off. Guest SuperSource. I think I'm just going to delete this because I haven't. I'm going to have to reconfigure it anyway. These buttons I don't need anymore because I'm not going to be moving between sets. Great. Let's get rid of those. Oh, here's another iPad, a SuperSource. SuperSource desk iPad cropped. So that would be the desk iPad. Box 2 would be the main camera. And 3 and 4 should be off. So we'll do that. Desk with iPad with patch 14. So that's when it's not patch 14 anymore, but that's when I'm using like patch number 1 here to show the YOLO box. So desk. Oh, this must have been, what was this for? iPad and the patch cord. What was that for? iPad and a patch cord. I'm thinking maybe it was mix effect on the iPad. Huh. I guess I don't, I'm going to delete that one because I don't know what it's for. SuperSource BTS layout. I think I don't use this anymore because I moved the BTS stream to the other ATEM entirely. Yeah. So I'm going to delete that one. Great. OBS weather banner, that should still work. Great. Multi-view does need to change. Ooh, I might need to change the macro. ME2, upstream key 2, multi-view cover. That might have an input in it. ME2, where's the ME2 key 2? It's just setting properties. Okay. Set program input. Okay, so this was multi-view, which is now here. Set the key on air. Set program input. Should I try it? Okay, so the thing in the... That is in the macro. Okay. So there is a macro number 2, which has something incorrect in it. So let's go fix the macro, which unfortunately means editing some XML, which is here. Called USK2 MV cover. This one. Fill input camera 2. Sure enough. So that needs to be camera 21. Then let's reload the macro. Here. Macros. And then test the button again. Yay, okay. Lily's home.
Are we still live streaming?
I am still live streaming.
Should probably be done.
Emerald says, on the Sonnet enclosure, just shoving into rack won't work as I'm building a portable venue rack, and that one you... Oh, yeah, portable rack. Definitely, I would not just shove it into the rack. Mine's just perched very carefully on top. Great, okay. I should really be done. I need to go probably do other things today. But hey, this is good. I think this means I can do the stream like normal from this setup now. Oh, I should go through my show buttons and make sure those all work. The show start and end buttons. Okay, one more little adventure. So over here, I have buttons for pre-roll, map, start the show, end the show. Hello. Thanks for joining, even if you have joined 2 hours into the stream. Okay, so we set the thumbnail, we start the countdown, we put the key on the air, fine. If I really am going to be sitting here, I feel like the super source box needs to change a little bit. Let's fix that. I guess I need to be scooted over there and more like that. Yep. And then we're going to go back to this one and learn box 2. Great. Is your companion setup Turing complete yet? It's getting there. Okay, back to pre-roll. Oh, the audio. What's my audio situation? So I think... Okay, yeah, so I still have the XLR mic plugged in here. Table microphone is no longer a table microphone. That is... I should rename all my audio. This is all a mess. This is all a huge mess. But the microphone is what used to be the desk microphone is the main microphone. So this is going to be, I'm just going to call this main microphone. And that is still in number 1. So that didn't change. Main microphone is number 1. I don't want to change any of the other ones anymore because that's no longer the table microphone. Great. Great. I think that's all set. No cameras come on during that button. Map should just set that in OBS. Oh, right. And then it queues up the overlay on top. Great. No cameras. Oh, wait. What's this? Aha, that is what messed me up this when I brought myself on the stream too early, because I forgot about this. What happens is I first all the graphics for the show, like all the graphics happen in OBS, so the chat but also the map. So if I turn this on, it's going to cover the entire thing because OBS is outputting key and fill. So that's fine. That would be fine for showing the map. It's just have it sit on top. But I want those. I want the map overlay. Key 3. What is the map itself on? Key 4, I thought. Oh, it's not even on right now because I'm not even streaming from this. Right. Anyway, point is, if the map is in a downstream key, it sits on top of the entire stream, and then I can't transition with a stinger to the camera. So I turn it on, which brings it on top of the stream, and then I actually turn off the downstream key, and instead I transition to the Ultra Studio fill in the program. That way I can do a actual stinger transition away from it later. And that's why I came on the stream early, because I remapped that port. So, okay, start at desk. We do a stinger. This is not number 2. This is going to be the main camera now. And we turn off the downstream keys. We do press the stinger button. We unmute channel 1. Turn off the map. Great, that's all fine. Magewell, I haven't used this in a while, but this should be fine. Actually, no, it's not. This is going to be ProConvert NDI. In case I start myself with a remote stream, which actually I'm going to get a chance to do in a couple of weeks. Credits should work still. End screen doesn't involve any cameras, so that should still work. And fade out and end stream should still work, because that also did not involve any cameras. Great. 16, that was just because I ran out of buttons, so I'm going to delete that. I'm also going to delete that. Great. What is this one? Table. I'm going to delete that one because that was a super source config, which should go to the other page anyway. Do I start the show with the HyperDeck Mini? This was the same start show button, but for the HyperDeck Mini. I don't know the last time I did that, but... Oh, this was for when I did the completely automated stream. That's right. I pre-recorded the stream and then loaded it into the HyperDeck and started the stream that way. And I had scheduled buttons that scheduled actions that push this button. Not going to do that again for a while, probably. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I think things are mostly back to normal now. How are we doing? What would be the simplest solution to get into live streaming a live sport, thinking about doing local basketball league? What would be the simplest solution to get? I would start simple and slowly expand. So like, it depends on your background as to whether you're going to like working with an ATEM, an OC, a YOLO box, or a Magewell Director Mini more. So take a look at some of the videos on my channel for overviews and guides on what those I like to use, because people definitely will prefer one over the other. But once you have any of those things, like start with just 1 or 2 cameras, and then do a couple, maybe volunteer first, and then like eventually you can grow a whole rig. I was doing a couple years ago. I had fun volunteering for recording a meetup group, talks from a meetup group, and it was a really good way to just like test out different kits and figure out how to make it faster. And I liked doing it for volunteering because it meant that if anything goes wrong, it's fine. Like, everybody has different expectations when you are providing a service for free versus when you are being paid. So, yeah. Do I have more about how I got into this. No, not like a special video, but I've mentioned it on some past streams. Um, yeah. Okay. Um, I didn't do a very good job of demoing the new YOLO box feature, but here, let me take a. Let's just do a quick look again because it is actually really cool. So the wow, I need to actually do a proper video about this, but this is the new YOLO deck, which is coming out very soon. And it is not a stream deck, so it works just with the YOLO box. You plug it in directly, not over the network. So it's connected over USB. But which is good and bad. It's good because it just works. It's bad because it means they have to be physically connected. But the trick is over in here, you can go configure it. And this is where you choose what shows up on this device. So you do have pages. I made a second page over here. And you just start dragging actions. And they don't have every action over here yet, but they do have a bunch. So they also want feedback on what other actions you would want to put in here. So for sports, since we were talking about sports a second ago, they have all these scoreboard features, right? So I can say, I can make this my like, I may actually make a new page, which is just gonna be for scoreboard stuff. So I can make pages for points. So I could do like -3, -2, -1, +3, +2, +1. So that's the home score. Unfortunately, it's not the right shape to have these buttons line up really well. Maybe I'll make a second page for the away score. I'll do the same thing. So 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, and then let's see, scoreboard. What is this? What does this do? Maybe that just turns on and off. So I'll do that on both pages. Okay, so now I've got pages set up to control the scoreboard. Oh, I have to save it first before it shows up. Let me go back over here and let's add comment actions. What else can I do? Overlays, that is useful. It's a little bit weird that they're just numbered. So you kind of have to know what's what. Let's see how well this works. So I'll just grab 7 overlays. And then we have live buttons. We have good audio. Oh, this is cool. You can actually control what tab is active with physical buttons. Interesting. Okay. And then, it shipped with 5 overlays and 5 sources. That was the default config. Let's just save that. And then it's going to go and update the deck. We'll exit that. Do I have overlays configured? Yes, I do. I don't know which is which. I guess this is number 5. So that should start the countdown. Hey, it did. Look at that. So you do have to kind of know the order of your graphics. Can you reorder them? I forget. Let's try. Yes, you can. So does that mean that's number 3 now? How do I make it? There. So overlay 3 is the countdown timer? It is. So cool. At least you can put them in the right order. So now I have overlay 1. Overlay 2 is the map, which they fixed finally. And then my web graphics show up right on here, which is very cool. Overlay 3 is the countdown timer. Overlay 4 is that one. Cool. Okay. So that's useful. Source switching. And I think you can move these sources around too. So now if I want my NDI camera over there. And then I want it to go to the scoreboard. So let's add a scoreboard. Actually, I should be able to turn it on here, right? Yep. That is not a very good scoreboard. Let's move it. How do I do that? Size. I don't use the scoreboard in this like ever. But you can add logos and stuff, which is cool. There was a way to move it. Scoreboard settings. You can choose different styles. No, I can't remember how to move it. It's just the style. Maybe it's here. Score set. Nope, that's just like fonts and colors. I know you can move it. Man, I'm not like editing it there. Huh, weird. Oh, there it is. So when you turn it on the screen, you get the option to move it. That's so funny. Okay, great. So now that that is set, I should be able to now control the scoreboard from the YOLO deck. So home score, +1, +2, +3, -3, -2, -1. Yep, and away score. Yeah, cool. That works great. That is a lot better than dealing with the touchscreen for the score. Cool. Well, that's handy. And then I'm not actually streaming from this right now, so I don't see the comments, but I wonder what feature the comment does. If it's not, I wonder how I choose one. I might have to actually try that. But yeah, this is cool. Basic switching and overlays, and then what were the other actions in here? Source selection, replay. I should try that one, but I need to get my Mario Kart wired up in order to test that better. PDF navigation, that's good. That's one of the annoying things to use touchscreen for too. Tabs. I guess I should make a page for navigation. Let's try this. Program, Max, let's test these out. Switch to audio tab, switch to overlay tab, switch to comment tab. I don't know quite what these do. Let's find out. Fade to black. Okay, save that. Now I have a new page. Over here, somewhere. There we go. Max program. Aha. So it just makes that full screen. Okay. Mixing tab. So it just jumps me. Overlay tab. Jumps me there. So instead of having to scroll and find the icon. That's cool. I can see that being useful. So I can go like, oh, I need to see the comments. So then I don't have to scroll through on this to do it. It'd be cool if they could have a separate YOLO deck for another person to use to keep other actions up. Yeah, which is why I think that this is why I was trying to say they should be doing this with Companion over the network, because then you don't need to be physically next to it. You could just have it on Wi-Fi. You can have it far away. So maybe they'll work on that, but right now it is just plugged in. I guess you could get a long USB cable, but yeah. Actual Kevin says, I've admired your ATEM content since my first OG ATEM Mini Pro in 2020. Well, thanks. Thanks for joining. Oh, you have a super chat. Thank you for that. What do you say to using free OBS is better? OBS is fine. I prefer the flexibility of doing more of the video routing outside of a computer, especially once you start getting multiple cameras and multiple video sources plugged in. It just seems to, it's more stable doing it all in its own hardware. But for plenty of streams, OBS is fine. If you're just doing like one camera and then graphics and stuff, OBS is really better at doing graphics, because anytime you want to do graphics in like the dedicated hardware, you have to go through a lot more hoops. Like in my case, actually using OBS for the graphics, routing it into the video system. But Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Um, Emerald says most certainly want companion support. Yeah, we will see. I hope they do it. I hope they do it. Grant says, which works with the yellow box for now. I fully expect someone to PR support for it to companion. I don't know because it's because the this is like, so I actually went and looked it up because when it booted up, it actually had like a different logo on it. This is actually, the hardware is actually this called Mirabox, and they are basically making Stream Deck clones of a couple different shapes. Kind of cool ones though. Big knobs, 6 knobs over there. But this is the actual hardware, and the company will let you OEM this and brand it. So that's why this one's got Yellow Deck printed on it. But this does have Mac and PC software, which looks suspiciously like. Wait, that is the Stream Deck software. I wonder if they made it work with an actual Stream Deck. I wonder. Let's see. That would be really funny. So if I just plug this into my computer, we will see what happens. I really need to attach that to the rack better. I don't think this is going to work because it did say you have to download its own software. But this is what happens before the YOLO box takes over. It says Mirabox Stream Dock. Devices. No device found. Stream Deck software does not actually see it. Which makes sense. They had their own software that you're supposed to download. But I don't care about it for that. The nice thing is that just the Yellow Live did the special dedicated integration to it where it just, as soon as you plug it in, it just takes over. So here, I'll show you what that looks like. When you plug it in to this, then there it goes. And it just knows what to do, which is kind of cool. Emerald says, you're running out of I/O with the PC eventually. Yeah. I don't actually use OBS anymore myself, but I've been amazed at the pushback to even the suggestion of getting an ATEM. It's true. I've found that the people who have streams that rely on lots of over-the-top graphics will tend to just use OBS for it because it's easier. And that's fine because it is a lot easier to do in OBS. But if your stream is going to involve like all the little chat ticker and like all the overlays when people subscribe and all the stuff that you find on the gaming channels, then yeah, that stuff's a lot easier to do in OBS. And you'll probably want to do that in OBS regardless of whether you're using an ATEM. The main argument you can make for an ATEM or any kind of hardware switcher like that, but I do mean like the hardware switchers, not YOLO box, but like OC or the ATEM or any of that family is, if you have like a gaming PC that you're trying to stream the content from, it makes a lot of sense to move as much of the work of the stream out of that gaming PC as possible to let the resources be used for gaming. And some people will have 2 PCs. One is a streaming PC, one's a gaming PC. It works, but that's what these things can help with, is if you plug in the gaming PC into like input 1 and then output the video signal to a monitor, then you can capture that without any additional resources on your computer. And then do stuff like picture-in-picture or multiple PC captures, or it just gives you a lot more flexibility without eating up the computer's resources. But depending on who you're talking to, that discussion can go very differently. So, yeah. Okay, it's been 2.5 hours. I think it's time to go. We got a little overview of the Yola deck. I did not have time to build the stand for the OC. This is the new NX3D stand for the OC Ghost Stream deck and duet, same case. So maybe this is next week's project. But yeah, we'll put it together next week. And next week I should be back to streaming with the normal setup here, not using the secondary streaming, and maybe I'll use a little whiny web presenter for the stream, because unless I decide to gut the case of this and turn this into a shell. What was it called when there's no rack, just the what's it called when you get just the side pieces? Open frame. Yeah, one of the other things I've noticed is that because this is a wooden frame, so I do have a little fan vent. You can't see it from that angle, but I have a little fan hole I cut out, which does not have a fan in it, but the fans from these devices blow this way, so it's just I can feel the hot air coming out. But because it's a wooden frame, it's not a heatsink itself. So if I touch that part of the metal, it's extremely hot. It is uncomfortably hot. And I don't think that's good. I don't remember it being that hot on the actual open frame rack, but that's because the whole rack is metal, so that it's helping dissipate heat. So this side's very hot. That side is not very warm. And that's because this is where all the heat gets blown, and then it's just got nowhere to go. So I'm kind of second guessing whether this wooden box was a good idea. And I don't have a good way to fix it except just ditching it entirely and getting open frame. And then I lose the top and would have to float those monitors over it instead. But maybe I will do that because it's very, very warm. And the web presenter being on the end, those two are blowing into it. And then it's got nowhere for the heat to go except out the little vent. And then it just gets hot and it just gets whiny. The fans kick on. So yeah, a little bummed about that because I do like these little boxes, but yeah, I do have holes in it. Just not enough apparently. Here, I guess I can show the holes. Because oh, I don't have a button for that. Well, we're not quite done. I need to make a button for the NDI, which is Pro Convert 35. There. And now I can't see if it's going, but it is. Okay, great. So that is the hole I drilled on the side. It is definitely blowing hot air out. It's kind of lined up with the center of these two. So both of these are blowing out that hole. And it is working. It's just apparently not enough because these are still very, very hot. Yes. I have a little thermal camera, which I was using to test to see where the hot spots are, which are not happy about it. It's really a bummer because I really do like the way it looks. And the open frame would look a lot more messy. I just can't figure out. Oh, and the other thing is that I can't. Do you really think adding a fan will help? I'm not sure it's an airflow problem at this point. The if that shell was built out of metal, I think it would help because it would be the whole thing would be a heatsink. But here, let me show you the. I need 2 hands for this. Let me show you the thermal camera feed. Ah. Whoops, I turned on guided access. There we go. There we go. So yeah, it's like a hot spot there. And then if you look over there, it's nice and cool. And then it's really hot towards the end here. And then that fan hole is doing its job. And then back on this one, the web presenter's off, so it's a nice little dark spot. Yeah. Patch panel is nice and cool. Monitor's a little bit toasty. So, yeah, not sure that was a good plan. Toasty, very toasty over there. 142 on that metal. That's not good. Oh well. The wood is basically a blanket. That is a good way to think of it. 2 fans, push pull. You think so? I don't want to drill another hole just because it's so much work. I have to take everything out of it to drill a hole in it. Which FLIR model is that? It's really old. It's C2. It's an old one. When I got it, I was trying to decide between getting the iPhone attachment or the dedicated camera, and I went with the dedicated one, which I think I regret now. Although now it's, I guess, I have my fear was justified, which is that my phone does not have lightning anymore. So now I am considering getting one of the new ones that has USB-C and just going into the iPhone, because it's so much faster being able to just get the images on your iPhone directly. I did use a circular saw drill bit to drill that hole, and I drilled it for an 80 millimeter PC fan hole. I just didn't put any fans in it. I just wanted to see if it would work with just the just being a vent, and I only drilled it on one side. So I could, I'm trying to find the pictures of the cabinet progress. I could drill a hole on the other side again, but it's just like, now that it's all wired up, I have to make sure I label all the wires, unplug everything, take out all the gear, take it outside, drill it, put it all back together twice, which is yeah, fun. Let's see, does this button work? Hey, it does. Look at that, things are working again. This was me drilling the hole, which is yeah, that is a cat. There's the giant mess of a hole. Yeah, I drilled it for 80 millimeter fan. Don't have a fan in it yet. I could add a fan, and I could do another hole on the other side. I think actually, in order to get a fan in there, I need to take everything out anyway. There's just enough room between the edge of the rack and the gear. There's like that much room. So there's room for a fan. And if I take everything out to do that fan, I should just drill a hole on the other side also. I could try that. I guess that's maybe the better thing to try before totally redoing, before doing it as an open frame. I really do like the cabinets. I can't believe the wood didn't warp or change color. Well, it's actually MDF. It's not even actual wood. Yeah, if you could trap the waste heat to generate electricity. I know, right? It's silly to have like all these little heaters in here and then have an air conditioner that is trying to remove the heat, but also spending electricity to do it. Like, why can't I use the heat that these generate to do something? Feels like it should be possible. I don't know. Okay, now we're really done. Now we're really done. Put the other side lower on the side. Yeah, that's a good idea. There are also 1U fans. Yeah, but I don't have any U's left. And I don't want it to be taller. This was the max height that I wanted to build. And the other thing was these are very shallow. So these are a lot shallower than you can buy, which is again why I built them. Because most of the desktop cases you get are going to be 12 or 15 inches deep, and these are 9, or like, no, maybe 11. But they are just the smallest I could get that would hold the Blackmagic 1U tray thing that these devices sit on, and the ports are like right at the edge back there. Yeah, I do have the AC 1U fans, but they are I didn't want to eat up a slot for the fans. So, yeah. 19-inch rack is 20 inches deep. I mean, you can get any depth you want. The depths are totally all over the place. Like my cage that's under the desk here is like 24 inches deep. The a lot of the desk ones are like 12 or 15, but they come in all sorts of sizes. But I wanted these as small as possible to eat up as little desk space as possible, and that's why I did them from scratch. Even the open frame bases are longer than this, which is also annoying. So now I'm like, maybe I could get the open frame rail, but then build my own foot for it. So I don't know. We'll see. I should probably start simple and just do a hole on the other side and put in fans, and then see if that helps. It'll be very obvious because I can measure the temperature again, but also the web presenter should stop kicking into high gear if it's getting cooled enough. Okay, now we're really done. Thank you everybody for joining. Why are you not? Oh, I didn't fix my downstream keys. Oh no. There it goes. Okay. Thanks to all the channel members for your support, and thanks for the super chats. And is the music going? It is. Good. Okay, at least we have music. Yeah, thanks for the super chats. Thanks for all your support. We'll be back here, same time, same place next week to continue on whatever this adventure is. I will build the stand for the OC. Maybe play around with the yellow deck again. And yeah, have a great rest of the day. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go film some videos now because I need to get some videos filmed before the work week starts again. So, all right, with that, thank you all and see you all later.